Hi everyone, this is Cynthia Kane, and welcome to our video tutorial covering the use of the PsycINFO database from the library to help you find articles and other information for psychology, counselor education, and other related disciplines. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is go to the library's webpage. And the fastest way to go there is to navigate to emporia.edu/library. Now, you'll notice on my bookmarks page in Google Chrome that I actually also have the University Libraries and Archives website bookmarked. So you might want to do that on your browser as well. I am using Google Chrome, but everything that we do today should be compatible with other browsers, just depending upon your preference. So we're going to go ahead and go to the library's webpage. And next, we will navigate to our databases link. And when we scroll down on this first page, you can find PsycINFO in a number of ways. It is also listed on our first page of databases as APA for American Psychological Association PsycINFO. So you could click on that. If you prefer, you could click on the letter P and go to PsycINFO from that point, or you can click on this All Subjects tab if you want to see what other databases we have in psychology and other resources. And if I click on Psychology, you'll see my contact information again, but you would also see the PsycINFO database along with other databases for psychology, counselor education, and other databases. So there's just a number of ways that you can get to the PsycINFO database. It just depends on what you're most comfortable with. I am going to go to the letter P and click on PsycINFO this way. And again, it's just whatever you're comfortable doing. Now, I'm already logged into the library's website and our databases with my ESU credentials. So that's why I popped directly into the PsycINFO database. If you're starting a new search in your browser, though, when you click on a link for any database, you will probably be prompted to put in your ESU username and password for your credentials, very much like logging back into Canvas or other ESU resources. Something I want to bring your attention to up here. There's a link that says My EBSCO. Now, I've already set up an account with my name and my preferences for something called My EBSCO account. If you have not used an EBSCOHost database before, and PsycINFO is an EBSCOHost database, I would strongly encourage you the first time you get into one of these databases to click on My EBSCO, and you'll probably get a little prompt here to manage your account. When you do that, you can actually set up your My EBSCO account with your g.emporia.edu address. This is going to become very important in just a little bit because when you're logged into a My EBSCO account, you can do a lot of things over here, such as create different projects, check your recent activity when you've been searching in a database, you can save articles, and so forth. You can't do that if you're not logged into a My EBSCO account. The second part I want to show you is always go to an advanced search if you have that option in any database. The reason is that a basic search, which is what we had in that previous screen, will let you do a little bit of searching, but an advanced search, especially with PsycINFO, will let you do a lot of nice limits and filters to your search that you cannot do with a basic search. And in PsycINFO, a lot of these limits are pretty imperative, depending upon how specific you need to do research. So for example, we can limit here just to peer-reviewed references, and that would limit your search just to scholarly peer-reviewed articles and other types of information, as opposed to general magazines or newsletters that really are not scholarly or peer-reviewed. And if you wish, PsycINFO is an international database. So you could limit your search just to articles and other items that are appearing in the English language. This next limit you don't have to do, but I want you to be aware of it. From time to time, your professors may say that your articles, maybe for an annotated bibliography or for a research paper, have to be from within the past 5 years or the past 12 months. You can limit that range here by publication date, or you could set up a custom range if you just wanted like the last 2 years or the last 3 years. Again, you don't have to do that, but it's a good limit to be aware of because a lot of your professors may want you to find really more recent articles on a topic. As we scroll down here, there are a lot of other publication types and languages and age groups that you can do for limits. I like to drill down even further and say that I want my publication type to be peer-reviewed journals. I've already done the peer-reviewed up here, but specifically I want peer-reviewed journal articles. I've limited my language already to the English language. This is another nice limit to know about. If you're focused upon a specific age group, particularly for a test or an experiment or a case study, you can say that you are only interested in articles or other references that talk about childhood, all the way through adolescence, adulthood, all the way to the aged and very old. So that's another nice limit to know about. Population group. If you're interested in human or animal, or even male, transgender, female, you can limit your population group as well. You may not have to drill down this far for some classes, but for other classes, you might have to find articles that address specific methodologies of research, such as empirical studies, interviews, systematic reviews, meta-analysis, and so forth. And you can do this as well. And again, I just wanted you to be aware of all these limits that will appear in the advanced search. So that's why you definitely want to go to the advanced search with PsycINFO. We're going to set up a quick search here. And the next limit I want you to know about is saying that you want your keywords or subject terms that you're going to search on as they would appear in the abstracts or summaries of articles. This is a really important limit to know about. If you've ever searched in a database and you find you're getting a lot of results for a topic, but then you start looking at those results and you think that they don't really have anything to do with your topic or your information need, the chances are pretty good that you are doing what's called a full text search. And in that case, your articles are actually being searched within the full text available. So all of your terms are appearing in the full text of that article, even if they have absolutely nothing to do with your topic itself. One way of avoiding that is to say that you want your subject terms or your words, your keywords, to appear in the abstracts or the summaries. So that limit will help you narrow and focus your information need. You won't get as many results, but what you will get will be a lot more relevant for your information need. So now let's do some searching. So I might be interested in, I'm doing sleep deprivation or sleep disturbance or reduced sleep or sleep loss or lack of sleep. I'm interested in some psychological aspects of that. And I might want to limit that to college students or university students or undergraduates. Notice what I'm doing here. I'm starting to type my terms, but I'm letting the database help me come up with alternative terms or synonyms to search on as well. So let the database help you come up with some terms. Just start typing in a search term and see what comes up. And I'm going to go ahead and search. I have 445 results. Now, in reality, that's a lot. I would probably want to limit that a little bit more, but we're just going to work with what we have right now for this video. Usually, your results will be sorted by relevance, and relevance tends to be the number of times that your keywords have come up or they appear in the title of an article or in the abstract. You can resort this to the newest or the oldest if you want, but I'm just going to keep that on relevance. And I have some interesting possibilities here. Now, a lot of these will say that I can click on Access Options. And we're going to come back to this one in just a second because remember, I did not limit just to articles that were available in full text through PsycINFO. Let's scroll down here. We have a lot of possibilities. We're going to go ahead and show more results. So you can keep looking. And here's one with the access options. And in this particular one, I could go directly to the PDF of that article. So that one is available in PDF. So always click on your access options to see what might be available. Now, this one is rather interesting. At this point, I could, if I wanted, download this PDF article, or I could print it. I could click on this Cite option, this little quote, which will appear with every reference that you have in PsycINFO. And that will help to generate a citation for that specific article in APA, in the American Psychological Format. Now, PsycINFO is a little bit different from other databases. PsycINFO is directly from the American Psychological Association, and because of that, the chances are quite good that the reference that is generated for this article, such as this one, will be in correct APA style. That's a little bit different because other databases don't necessarily generate correct APA style references. You could highlight this reference, copy it to your clipboard, and then you could paste that and then reformat it in a working bibliography or a working draft of your paper. I would, though, still go ahead and proofread these references from PsycINFO in any APA-style help that your professors have given you or that we have available through the library, just to make sure you don't have to make any corrections. But I did want to show you that that option is indeed available. Something else I wanted to show you up here. I am not clicking on this back button in the browser. The reason I'm not doing that is if you've ever filled out a form online and then you realize that you need to go back to the previous screen and you click on your back button, but then it shows that your form is no longer available or your session has expired. The same thing could possibly happen since I'm logged into PsycINFO through the library. If I click on this back button, it might take me back to the previous screen, or it might kick me out of my database session and I'd have to start all over again. And I do not want you all to have to do that. So rather than using the back button in your browser, another hint, use any of the navigation features such as this back button that happen to be within the database itself. And then that will take you back to that previous screen. Now, I mentioned that once you're logged into your My EBSCO account over here, you can actually do some things over here like save articles or create folders or projects. I'm going to click on my projects. I happen to have a project that's created already that's called Sleep Deprivation Articles, and I have some other projects or folders that I've created. You don't have to do this, but this is a wonderful way of keeping your research organized if you have a lot of research projects going on in terms of a semester. To create a new project, just click on that plus button, put in that name, whatever title you want. It could be your topic. You could put your due date, maybe a due date for the draft of the paper or for the final version, and you could put a description, but these two are optional. You just go ahead and name your project. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because I've already created one. And again, I'm going to go back over here to recent activity and go back to my search. I like this one, even though it's not readily available right now through PsycINFO, but I'd like to save that. So I'm going to go over here to my tools and I could do a citation or generate a citation from here as well. or I could say add to project. And since I already have that project created called sleep deprivation articles, that is now going to be in that folder or that project, and I can always go back to it. Now let's highlight this one again because, as I mentioned, this one is not showing up with a PDF option for the full text of the article, but I'm still interested in it. So this is the next step I want you to be aware of, and this part is not obvious. I'm going to highlight the title of the article. I didn't do the title of the journal because I want to see, when I go back over here to our library's website, I would like to see if maybe we have access to that article, maybe through another resource or another database. So to do that, I'm going to go now to the Discovery Search Catalog, which incorporates a lot of different databases and other full-text resources that the library has access to. And in this first field, I am pasting the title of that article that I just copied, and I'm going to search. Now, I really didn't get an exact match for that article. It kind of looks like it here, but it's not exactly that same article. If we had had access to this article through another resource, through the library, that article reference and then the access options with PDF would pop up in the first or second result. That's okay, because this tells me that even though we don't have access to this article right away, this is another feature I want you to be aware of. If you start doing your research early, you will have time to obtain articles through something called interlibrary loan. And I can do this directly through PsycINFO. So I verified that we don't have access to this article through the library. I would like to get it from another library. So we'll go request through interlibrary loan. And I'm going to be asked to log in with my ESU credentials. And I've already done interlibrary loan through our library before, so you'll notice that this article actually populated automatically with a request form. It put all that information in for me. If you have not done interlibrary loan before, you will be asked before this screen to set up a personal record, and you'll just have to put in like your contact information, your email address, your e-number, and so forth. You only have to do that one time. And then after that's done, you will have the same type of screen. It will populate this request form. And what I'm doing is saying, if I click on Submit Request, I'm asking our interlibrary loan office at our library to find a copy of this article from another library in PDF. And then if they can do that within a few days, they would send a copy of that PDF or a link to the article to my g.emporia.edu address, and then I can access that at no charge. Do not pay for articles. Sometimes you get prompted to do that through sources such as Google Scholar. Remember that you as ESU students have interlibrary loan as an option to get articles or books at no charge from other libraries, and I'd be happy to help you with that as well. We'll go back over here. And at this point, I've covered some of the highlights of searching the PsycINFO database. In reality, there's also a lot more that you can do, but remember that you can reach out to me or you can ask for help from anyone who is an academic librarian liaison. You can also, again, go to the library's webpage at emporia.edu/library. You can call the reference desk at 620-341-5207, or you can email us at librep01@emporia.edu. Please reach out for any questions using PsycINFO or just doing research in particular through our library's website. We are happy to help you. Thank you.